Good evening, everybody. I will call our regular public council meeting for Monday, September 21st, 2020 to order. Just a quick little housekeeping item. If anybody has any questions for the first Q&A session, you need to get them in before the agenda is adopted. Otherwise, if you think of something during the meeting and you'd like to ask a question, you can send your email to dchaplin@torbay.ca during the meeting and we'll address it afterwards. Secondly, I had a email from a resident today asking me to make sure that when council are speaking, they don't forget to turn on their microphone and speak into it so that everybody at home can hear. I said, no problem. I'll make sure that we make note of that. So that's from one of our faithful watchers. Let's see. New business. We'll start with Councillor Glant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just going to say a quick thanks this week.
Okay. Councillor Pollard.
Quick thanks, congratulations.
Okay. Councillor Thorngass.
Yes.
Councillor Roach.
I'll have a quick thanks.
Okay. Councillor Martin.
Pass.
Deputy Mayor is absent. She is up on the Northern Peninsula with her work, so she won't be here tonight. And I got a thanks and a condolences. All right. Any people submit any questions yet, CAO? No? Okay. Could I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, carried. All right, moving right along. So we have a set of public minutes from our September 8th public council meeting. Could I get a motion to adopt those, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded. Any errors or omissions? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. All righty. We have two proclamations here. First one is a Childhood Cancer Awareness Month proclamation, and I believe Councillor Martin has that one.
Thank you. Proclamation is for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month for September 2020, Town of Torbay. Whereas there are about 10,000 children living with cancer in Canada today, and whereas each year about 1,600 cases are diagnosed, over 25 of which are children in Newfoundland and Labrador, whereas in Canada childhood cancer remains responsible for more deaths from 1 year through adolescence than any other disease, and whereas 1 in 4 children are diagnosed with cancer will die of the disease. Whereas, because of significant advances in therapy, 78% of children diagnosed with cancer will survive 5 years or more, an increase of almost 46% since the early 1960s. Whereas childhood cancers have close to a 75% cure rate, with leukemia leading the success charge with close to 90% overall cure rate.
Now therefore, I, Craig Scott, on behalf of the Town of Torbay, do hereby proclaim September 2020 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the Town of Torbay. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. And after we do the other one, we'll get a picture of both, okay? Thank you. And we have another one there for CRMO, Chronic Recurrent Multifocal Osteomyelitis Awareness Month, October 2020. And that is a mouthful, and I'm going to hand it to Councillor Pollard to take it away.
Thank you, Your Worship. Whereas chronic recurrent multifocal osteomyelitis, CRMO, is an autoinflammatory disease affecting the bones of the body, causing pain, lesions, and inflammation, which can eventually lead to fracturing or breaking of the bones and other physical problems. And whereas there are limited treatments for CRMO, and the limited few are very painful and expensive, and there is currently no cure. And whereas the path to diagnosis is often a long one with many other possibilities that need to be ruled out, delaying access to appropriate medical care for those who are affected. And whereas countless friends, loved ones, spouses and caregivers must shoulder the physical, emotional and financial burdens that CRMO causes. And whereas the severity of the symptoms of CRMO and the limited public awareness of the disease can cause patients to be isolated and lead to depression. Many of the affected become diagnosed as children, and it is very hard for them to feel and enjoy life as their peers do. CRMO is often called an invisible illness, as many of the children affected appear fine at first glance, but deeper down are dealing with high levels of pain, frustration and sadness. And whereas the goal of CRMO Awareness Month is to raise public awareness and understanding of the disorder, which has numerous manifestations affecting children of all ages, races, genders and backgrounds, and whereas fundraisers for the CRMO Foundation may take place in the form of a 3-kilometre to 5-kilometre walk, and
Now therefore, I, Mayor Craig Scott, do hereby proclaim October 2020 as Chronic Recurrent Multifocal Osteomyelitis CRMO Awareness Month in the town of Torbay. So moved.
second.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Today is September 20th, right?
21st.
September 21st, 2020. Okay. This one first. Okay. And this one. Thank you, Ann. Leave them there for you to pick up. All right. Thanks, guys. We don't have any presentations. We don't have any questions for the Q&A. Mayor's report, I'll just be brief. Last night, I attended the AGM for the food bank. They have a new incorporated company that they're, incorporated entity, I guess, that they're electing a board of directors for. Last night's meeting turned into more of an information session and an expression of interest from people. There was a good few people there, and I think that what they're going to do is they're going to call a second meeting and officially have that as their AGM and do their election of officers at that point. So everybody keep an eye out for that if you have interest in it to show up, and I guess I'll follow up with them to see if we're going to be able to provide them with a space to have their meeting. Also, on the weekend, Saturday, we had our fourth M&L board meeting for the year. It's third one, I think, that we did via Zoom. And there's a lot of interesting topics on the agenda. But one thing that I want to remind everybody is that the annual general meeting of M&L is coming up. Well, the convention is going to be coming up, and it's going to be an online virtual convention. And I would encourage everyone to sign up and participate, because it's a good opportunity to, I guess, experience all of the sessions. Because as you know, when we go to M&L convention, we kind of split up, and one goes here and one goes there, so we can make sure that we're in attendance for every session that's going on. But these ones, they're going to be presenting them live, some of them, but they're going to keep the recording and keep it on the website afterwards, so that you can go back and look at the session that you missed. So I had a look at the draft agenda. It looks like it's going to be a lot of good stuff on there, so I would encourage everybody, if you can find the time to do that. The registration is open now, so not just for our town, but other towns around. It's a good opportunity in particular for people and small towns maybe that don't generally go to the convention to get a cheaper look at it, because you don't have to travel. There's no hotels associated with anything. It's just a registration cost, And there's always a lot of good information there, and it's a good learning experience for people. So I would encourage everybody to do that. And other than that, that's it. I'm not going to elaborate too much on anything else. We have some correspondence here. Oh, did anybody have any questions? Any of those things? No? Good. All right. We have correspondence from residents regarding speed bumps on North Pond Road. This was sent to me and I forwarded it on to the planning committee, and it's in the planning committee report. They've been looking at it, so it's all good. It's interesting though, I guess I am going to mention something about it, is that always we're inundated with requests for people for speed calming and speed bumps, and everybody wants them in their neighborhood. And I have had people comment to me in the public that some people don't like speed bumps, and this is an example of a particular resident who is not in favor of speed bumps up on Brady Drive or wherever there were two. So it's I thought it was important. I asked her if she wanted her correspondence added to the agenda, just so that people understand there are different point of views out there about it. So anyway, it is what it is, and I responded to her. My email there, my response is in there as well. We have one from the Department of Environment, Climate Change and Municipalities. So that's the new name of our department. It seems like over the last number of years, it's after having a couple of different iterations on the name. And I must say, when I first heard about it, it kind of threw me for a loop, the fact that the municipality's name was at the end. I was hoping that that wasn't an indication of the focus that was going to be on municipalities, but we've since had meetings with ministers and the Premier, people from M&L have, just to reinforce the fact that municipalities are very important, and they are, and we know they are. That's about training opportunities. There's an awful lot of them there. Land use planning training poster there as well. Municipal budget training poster. A training registration form, and this one is for if you want to apply to get, if you're going to go to these training opportunities, that you can apply to get some funding from the government to cover off some of the costs. And there's a memo from Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and this came up in our MNL board meeting on the weekend, that there was a potential that one of our Newfoundland Labrador seats on the federal FCM board was potentially not going to get filled this year, because the person that was in it had no interest in rerunning, and the person that was in it before didn't have an interest. So Deputy Mayor expressed an interest that she would like to run for that seat. And we had some communications over the weekend between council, and everybody seemed to be in favor. There's a motion here. Is that in the finance one, Don? No. It's here?
Part of this memo here now.
Okay. So did somebody want to take that and do it? Councillor Rhodes, go ahead.
Okay, just read it out, right?
Yeah, it's a motion to accept her, put forward her nomination.
Yes, okay. Do I read the top part too? No name?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, all right then. Once a formal decision of council is made, a signed copy will be provided to Deputy Mayor Appleby for submission. The motion goes this way. Federation of Canadian Municipalities election to the Board of Directors. Whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, represents the interests of municipalities on policy and program matters that fall within federal jurisdiction. Whereas FCM's Board of Directors is comprised sorry about that, I didn't know if I had my microphone on. Whereas the Board of Directors is comprised of elected municipal officials from all regions and sizes of communities to form a broad base of support and provide FCM with the prestige required to carry the municipal message to the federal government. And be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Torbay endorses Deputy Mayor Trina Appleby to stand for election on FCM's Board of Directors for the period starting in September 2020 and ending in November 2021. And, Mr. Mayor?
Keep going.
I got to go, so, okay. And be it further resolved that council assumes all costs associated with Deputy Mayor Trina Appleby attending FCM's Board of Directors meetings. So moved.
Mover, seconder. Any comments or questions? I guess I'll make a comment on it. I think this might be the first time that the town of Torbay have ever tried to get a seat on that national board.
More time, anyway.
And I think that it's a good thing.
Really good.
And I think in particular now with COVID, it's a good opportunity for us to be able to take advantage of that board seat at probably a reduced cost, because a lot of the meetings are going to be online via Zoom and stuff like that. Not that it's an exorbitant amount of money anyway, but the experience that Deputy Mayor is going to get there and the information she's going to be able to bring back and bring forward on our behalf is it's going to be good for her and it's going to be good for the town. So.
And I'm very proud to have made that motion because I know that she's going to keep on going. Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So there might be an election for that if another member from Newfoundland Labrador puts forward their name for a nomination. So good luck to her.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Committees of Council. There's a set of committee at whole minutes for September 14, 2020. Can I get a motion to adopt those, please?
So moved.
Mover, seconder. Any errors or omissions? Questions? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Planning Land Use Development. Councillor Martin.
Thank you. Excuse me, the motions report enclosed covers our meeting on September 1st, as well as committee of the whole meeting on September 14th and public meeting on September 8th. The first series of motions, the first one is 32 Dumfries Lane and Annesty's Cove Lane, application C2020-082, which is application for extensions to dwelling, excuse me, an attached garage. Setting up building line in Annesty's Cove Lane is a RI and RMD land use zone, and the background, a very brief background, is the town of Torbay is in receipt of an application proposing to construct an attached garage to the dwelling at 32 Dumfries Lane. Access to the subject property is available off both Dumfries Lane and Annesty's Cove Lane. The property boundary of the subject property does not correspond or run parallel with the existing Annesty's Cove right-of-way and street line. The Council by resolution may establish building lines on an existing street and may require any new buildings to be located on those building lines. Committee minutes and a detailed background report associated with this application from part of this motion are attached for reference. The recommendation by committee is the committee supports the department's recommendation and is tabling the following motion, whereas motion as presented to set the established building line in Annesty's Cove at 8 meters and approve application C2020-082 to be able to accommodate an extension to the existing dwelling at 32 Dumfries Lane, subject to the proponent submitting evaluation drawings for review and approval to ensure appearance of a front facade on Annesty's Cove Lane. So moved.
Moved, seconded. Questions?
Yeah, I've got a bit of a question, and maybe it's just I got Monday brain. I'm not quite understanding exactly what the issue is. So it's just things don't they don't line up with the property line? Can you just explain that a little more?
The homeowner's property is on Dumfries Lane. And the Anstey's Cove subdivision, there's another driveway to the rear of his property which accesses his garage. So it's essentially, you can access the property by both roads.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is he can build a garage here, but it has to be set back 8 meters.
Yes.
So there's a few spaces around like that.
Yeah, I've just never seen one of those come in the package before. I'm having trouble picturing it in my mind. I'm very, very visual, so I'm having trouble kind of thinking about it. But
There's a copy of the drawing there in your page 55.
So does that answer your question?
sorry, yeah, totally. Sorry, I missed the picture. Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Okay, any further questions? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Next one is 299 Balling Line, application B 2020-129, general repairs to dwelling, which is in a watershed land use zone, non-conforming use in the Watt zone. And the background, the town of Torbay is in receipt of a building application by the property owners of 299 Balling Line, proposing to replace the siding, windows and shingles on their existing dwelling. Committee minutes and a detailed background report associated with this application form part of this motion and are attached for reference. Excuse me. And the recommendation is the committee discussed the proposal, has no objection to the department's recommendation, and tables the following motion. Motion as presented is motion to approve application B 2020-129 in accordance with Regulation 49 of the Torbay Development Regulations 2015 to 2025, sorry, and to issue a building permit subject to the renovations meeting standard building conditions in the town of Torbay. So moved.
Mover, seconder, questions, comments? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next one is a motion on the North Pond water allocations, preliminary findings. This one contains some information that a lot of residents have been waiting for. And the background, as per previous 2019 motion of council, reference motion number 128-2019, there is currently a freeze in effect on hooking any new dwelling units onto the existing municipal water supply feed off North Pond. The town of Torbay is currently undertaking a flow meter study, and on September 8th, 2020, the town received a letter from Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions advising that preliminary findings of the North Pond water metering study have revealed some additional yield in the system. The consultant advised that the town would be justified in incrementally adding up to 60 additional users to the system. Associated with this matter, Planning and Development Department staff have an existing table of active applications, inquiries, and prior refusals of approximating to 60 dwelling units in the system. Excuse me. Committee of the Whole minutes and a detailed background report by the Planning and Development Department and Infrastructure and Public Works Department associated with this application form part of this motion and are attached for reference. And the recommendation is that the Committee of the Whole Council discussed the consultant's letter in detail, supports the recommendations of the Planning and Development, as well as Infrastructure and Public Works Departments, and is hereby tabling the following two motion. Motion number 1 is as presented, motion to rescind prior 2019 motion. Motion number 128-2019, so moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Next one is motion as presented, motion to adopt the letter of recommendation as prepared by Wood Group, and Wood Group dated September 8th, 2020, providing preliminary results on yield capacity of the North Pond water supply, and to adopt a new policy relating to the North Pond water allocation so that the town of Torbay can consider incrementally adding up to 60 dwelling units, infill only, hooking into the existing municipal water supply. To be able to achieve this, that the town staff may review all active applications for approval, and for town staff to contact all remaining parties as outlined in the existing list by registered mail, and advise that they should still be interested in connecting to municipal water, that an application would need to be received by the town of Torbay for consideration by December 31st, 2020. So moved.
Second.
Mover, seconder, questions, comments?
I'll just say that it's been, it'll be a great letter for all those residents that have been waiting to receive in the mail to get the projects moving. And I obviously support it.
I think it's promising that
Yeah.
we're able to undertake this study and find additional water capacity without having to change anything yet. So we do have the options going forward that there are things that we can do to potentially increase the yield a little more. But I mean, that'll be further down the road. And I also like the fact that we're going to go back and we're going to talk to all the people who submitted applications and give them an opportunity up to the end of December to put an application in to avail of that water. So it's good all around. It's good for us. It's good for those people who had applications in. Go ahead.
Just in reference to the communication side of things, I know registered mail under COVID, there won't be any sign for receipt, so you won't really know if the person actually gets it. They'll say they delivered, but you won't know if it's to their hands. And I suggest we also try to phone those folks if necessary, or try to other contacts that may not be on spot.
Okay, we can make a note of that.
Any other comments? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, moving on. Our last one, apologies, just lost my spot. Last one is our permit listings. Background permit listings for the period of September 4th to September 18th, 2020 are attached, form part of this motion. Recommendation, the committee hereby tables the following motion. Motion as presented, motion to accept the permit listings for the period of September 4th to September 18th, 2020 as presented. So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry, that was for planning, say that again? What was?
Did you, it's basically just accepting the already pre-approved applications. Yeah. Okay, all right. Opposed? Nobody. Thank you.
Okay.
Carried.
And, other than that, your worship, minutes and background reports are attached.
All right.
So ends my report.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions about any of the any of the items in the background reports?
No.
I thought that procedure was that chairs would give an executive summary of, an executive verbal summary.
Everything that's in that report was all part of the motions. So there's nothing, I don't think there's anything extra in there.
The only other thing is our committee minutes.
Yeah, I was referring to the committee minutes, right?
I can give a brief overview of that.
Yeah, I would just hate to see that
Okay.
practice of giving a verbal
I agree.
executive
I agree.
summary go away. I thought that was what we
Okay.
all agreed to do.
Well, I mean, if anybody has any questions on any of it, just ask it. I don't see the point in going through all of that stuff for nothing.
Sure, I just don't think it's for nothing. I think that the public's watching and stuff like that, and just we're all here, just take 5 minutes and give 5-minute executive summary of what's been talked about in the report, right?
If you've got anything that you want to highlight that you think is important, go ahead.
Okay, I'll just give a very brief overview of our Planning Land Use Development Committee meeting on September 15th. We had a joint, more of an informal meeting briefly between Community Services and Plod as a potential application. Kennedy's Brook Estates is intertwined between both committees. So myself, Councillor Gallant, Councillor Thoran Goss, Director Schwartz, and Hakan Ryan had a conversation about how we can maximise benefits of that development for the town. We also talked about some development control items such as neighbourhood watch and impounding of vehicles. Other than that, our action items, Planning and Development Department, we are working on revamping those, and we discussed the applications that were just passed. Other than that, our meeting is next week.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Any questions on any of that?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you for being transparent.
Transparent? Sure, it's all up on the web.
Thank you for being extra transparent.
Sometimes if you're too transparent, people see through you. All right, Administration and Finance, Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to turn on my microphone. The meeting was held on the 15th of September. I did not attend, unfortunately. Thank you, Your Worship, for stepping in on me for that. We have a list of regular, shall we say, routine payments in the amount of over $5,000. So I'll go with the first motion. Receiver General of Canada for July 16th to the 30th payroll deductions in the amount of $27,418.86. August 1st to the 15th payroll deductions in the amount of $26,905.69. Trio benefits for the August 2020 group benefit premiums in the amount of $10,760.96. CIBC Mellon for July 2020 pension benefits, $19,167.36. Newfoundland Power July 2020 group electricity billing in the amount of $7,331.12. July 20th street lighting and gateway sign in the amount of $15,698.47. Commission errors May 17th to June 13th in the amount of $10,304, and commission errors for June 14th to July 25th for enforcement in the amount of $15,962, all totaling $133,548.46. So moved.
Second.
Mover and seconder. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next group are non-routine invoices, over $5,000. First one's for Grand Concourse Authority, which represents 50% of the summer maintenance beautification budget in the amount of $20,000. Pyramid Construction, there's two invoices here, both for asphalt and pothole repair. One in the amount of $5,211.80 and one in the amount of $5,213.07. Progressive Engineering Consulting for engineering services for the lights in the ball field in the amount of $12,073.56. Complete Transport dump truck annual inspections in the amount of $8,758.99. Two invoices here for the exact same amount for Micmac Safety Source for the Hugh Bosch washer extractor for the Flat Rock Fire Station in the amount of $5,744.25, and one for the Torbay Fire Station in the amount of $5,744.25. Mercer's Paving for crosswalks and speed humps in the amount of $10,810. Mark's Work Warehouse for some fire department clothing in the amount of $5,837.40. Bang the Table, which is our communication network, I guess overall, is in the amount of $8,797.50. Weir's Construction for Class A gravel in the amount of $7,467.53 for a total of $95,658.35. So moved.
Second.
Mover, seconded. Questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
On the next page, Your Worship, we had a meeting on the 17th of September as well. I was in attendance for that. We spoke about the performance evaluations and compensation models, and they'll come up at a committee meeting of the whole, next one up, I do believe. But there's a motion here for the hosting of the 2021 Atlantic Mayors Congress meeting. So the CAO sent out some information on that, host, about the responsibilities for those who do host. And I think feedback from all council was pretty much for it. So there's a motion here. The town of Torbay confirm interest in hosting the May 2021 Atlantic Mayors Congress meeting based on current COVID protocols. So moved.
Second.
Mover, seconder. Comments? Questions? I brought this to council after I was asked by the Atlantic Mayors Congress if we were interested in hosting the spring meeting, which will be in May, under the current conditions as we are right now. Now, they just recently had a meeting in Summerside PEI that I did not attend, and it went quite well. under this very similar circumstances that we'd be hosting. And I actually, because they just had their meeting and they adopted a lot of the minutes that we had, I attached a lot of stuff to the council package this week from Atlantic Mayors Congress so that you can go in and look and see what it is that they do. And the one thing that I would highlight is the resolution that we passed last year with regards to the wastewater, federal wastewater regulations. I know it was something that MNL was advocating on behalf of, and myself and the Mayor of St. John's brought that to Atlantic Mayors Congress, and they supported us and put forward a resolution that was sent to FCM and to the federal government. So it adds, in that context, it takes the voices of 500,000 people from Newfoundland and changes it into a few million of the whole Atlantic region advocating. So it's kind of, that's the type of thing they do. So there's a lot of interesting thing that happens, and it's going to be a good opportunity for us to showcase our new building in our town and help out some of our local business. So it's all good. Thank you. Anything else? Any comment on that? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And just some, I guess, highlights of our meeting. I neglected by error of omission or stupidity or something last time round to speak to the 2021 budget, which is now in process, I guess, from the seeking information from the public. A survey went live September 7th and it closes September 30th, and the rec card is being mailed out to all residents, so everybody has it. So I was supposed to highlight this, so I asked folks to check the website and the survey and everything, and provide as much information as possible. So mid-October-ish, October 14th through the 19th, somewhere along the way, we will be doing some type of public consultation, either live stream or in person, and then we will follow up with another one thereafter to finalize the budget sometime in November. So just ask folks that they, participate as best they can, keep an eye open to the information, and give some serious thought to how folks want the town to move forward for 2021. Another thing that comes up on a regular basis in meetings is the deputy mayor has been pushing to go to outside service providers for both pension and group insurance. I serve on the board of the present trio group, and it makes me hard to be able to speak to anything. And not only that, I'm also a recipient of both plans in terms of pension and benefit, and it kind of puts me in a conflict of interest in, I guess, externally looking at it would. In my own mind, I can speak to it either way. It really doesn't impact me one way or another if it changes or it doesn't change. I still have my, want to put my opinion in, but I just need some guidance from council whether or not they will do that next, and not have me in conflict of interest on that type of scenario.
So you're looking for some guidance from us? So,
Well, I'm not look. I not to state things that I'm probably the best able to speak to it. That's
Right.
that's the part that bothers me the most, I guess, about it. I'm probably on both sides, and as a pension recipient as well, I guess, which I shouldn't, because that puts me in conflict. But anyway, I'll leave it there. This is definitely a borderline one. I admit that.
yeah, okay. So we're not discussing that tonight, just so everybody's clear, that Councillor Pollard is just raising the potential that he may at some point be in a conflict, right, Don? That's,
We do need a motion, actually, that's what was discussed at committee level for
Okay.
council to make a decision.
okay, for council to make a decision now? All right, so, Councillor Pollard, you are asking us to determine if you're in a conflict or you're not, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, but the sad part about it, sitting there, if it was anybody else, I'd in my own objective mind, I'd say I'm in conflict just because of the situation I'm in,
Right.
unfortunately.
So, go ahead.
So actually, make a motion so we can talk about it.
Yeah. Someone want to go ahead and make a motion. He can't make his own motion.
I move that Councillor Pollard be ruled in conflict when it comes to making council decisions on trio benefits. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Did you get it?
Yes, I did.
Councillor Torngas. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I guess I'll speak to it very briefly. I know that we've had people on the TRIO board in the past, and there has been, I remember on council, there was will to look outside, and there was always a bit of push and pull back between that. So I would actually like to have a conversation, frank conversation and debate and stuff among council, without the input of someone who's on the TRIO board. I think that gives a slight disadvantage, I guess, to anyone else wanting to get in. Anyone else wanting to get in, it's kind of hard if a member of the board's in on the conversation at town council, particularly if that individual happens to be receiving financial benefits or whatnot from the actual company. Again, I don't have any one way or the other, but I think it might be a smart play, especially there's financial stuff and anyone else that wants fair market it would be difficult, or if I was doing it, one would seem would be difficult if there was someone on the board actually in on those discussions. So I would allow Councillor Paul to step away, or I'd recommend him to step away from this case, just for perception.
I was wondering if to
Councillor
resolve...
Rhodes, can you pull your microphone down a little bit?
Sorry. It's way back there.
Just bend it.
Yes, I was wondering that to solve the whether or not a person is really in my God, I'm after losing my mind now again. But anyway, I think it would be nice, rather than to put the spot on Councillor Pollard or anybody who's involved in that, to ask TRIO to come in and do a little, take force, tell us what it's all about, and then, we could have a little, on an off day, or something like that, or an off night, or whatever like that. And then we understand more what it's about, and we might be able to talk them into getting coverage for councillors too. No, but I'm seriously, I think that would be a good way to come in and see what's what.
I think that
And Councillor Pollard could stay home then.
whenever we go to M&L convention, TRIO is always there and gives a presentation.
Yeah.
I don't think that is exactly what the issue that we're discussing here right now. I think that the issue is, under normal circumstances, if Councillor Glant was the member of TRIO,
Yes.
there would be no conflict. The issue is because Councillor Pollard is also a municipal employee in Portugal St. Phillips,
Okay.
and is in the pension plan is where the potential conflict comes from. That's why when former councillors who were on the TRIO board always were able to discuss the TRIO stuff, because there was no benefit to them personally, which I think is the potential issue, and certainly the appearance of conflict, even if it's not, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I would tend to agree with Councillor Glant that
Yes.
Councillor Pollard would excuse himself from those conversations. Councillor Torngas?
I'm in agreement, the fact that you're receiving financial benefit in your day job mean that you're in conflict, so I'd rather err on that than go the other way.
Sure,
Yeah.
why not? Listen, I'm fine either way. I know where it should be. It's interesting because it doesn't really affect Town of Torbay, because I pay and Town
No,
of
hang on,
Torbay
now,
pay.
just wait now. Because we got a motion there, we're talking about your potential conflict, you can't speak to it. You already gave your spiel.
Oh, not, I'm
first.
just, my only comment I'm not speaking to it is that I've asked the council to make sure they understand what they're talking about before they start talking about it.
Right.
But see, that's the reason why I'd like to see us, like, I'm not on the M&L or gone away or anything like that. Neither are the other people here. But, I think it would be nice, I'm sorry I got to interrupt for a second and finish it, then I'll shut up, okay? And, to understand exactly what the issue is that you're trying to get across, what point across, and what are you trying to accomplish at the end, right?
The issue is, as per conflict of interest guidelines within the Act, it says that if you are a member of a board or an
Oh, yes, no, I
agency-
don't mean that. I mean,
But that's what I'm talking-
TRIO is like.
Yeah, but we're dealing with this now, conflict of interest.
Okay,
with the trail piece, I guess if we ever decide that we're gonna go, we can always do that. like
Yeah.
you're saying. Councillor-
I was going to say I'll go with consensus and support the conflict.
All right,
Ah, gee whiz.
We'll gang up on you.
back to you.
Yeah, just to wrap up, yeah, and again, this is something very specific. You know, we do have a counselor, you know, if we wanted to, you know, decrease benefits or increase benefits by changing or not changing, or all that kind of stuff, and it would actually have a direct impact on someone, then actually, yeah, there does seem to be a direct financial component to it, so I would,
How can we do
I'll
that?
support,
Okay,
let Tony's talk back.
all right, because, all right, so I guess a question that I would have though, before we vote, is when the time comes to look at whether we would change pension plans for employees at the town, because that's basically what we're talking about. Who do we get our guidance from if all the employees at the town are in the plan? Do we have to get guidance from somebody would be outside the town, Don? Is that what we would have to do?
When municipalities have reviewed their group insurance and their benefits, they've hired a broker at no cost to the municipality, so
Okay.
once the review is done, they come back with a recommendation.
All right, that answers that question. Because we'd kind of be left in a lurch
Yes,
if we were
that's right.
trying to make a
Good.
decision on our own. All right, so we'll vote that now. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. Thank you. So that solves that problem for you, Tony, going forward.
Never a problem.
Issue.
Issue. Yeah, we're done. That's good. Anyway, all I say is, that's good, perfect. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else that is there. There is all in the notes and everything else, so. So when's my report, Your Worship? Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. I would only add that for residents that are watching or not watching, keep an eye out for these flyers and rec cards that are going to come out with regards to the budget. And please, if you have time, fill it out and provide us with some input. It's going to be a tough year this year and next year budgeting with COVID-19 and the extra expenses the town has had to take on. And, you know, it hasn't been easy on anyone, so it's going to be an interesting couple of months trying to figure out our balanced budget. So with that, I'll leave it at that. Thank you. Economic development and tourism. Councillor Martin.
Thank you. Okay, there's no motions. Myself, Deputy Mayor, and Ms. Lawrence met on September 17th. We discussed our economic roadmap as part of our economic development strategy, as well as business awards. We're extending the deadline, so if any viewers are out there and support any local businesses that you would like to nominate, feel free to visit the town's website or call us and do so. We've also discussed regional wayfinding, as well as the Pico Ridge Memorial Project as part of our tourism. And we discussed the History House governing models under our culture and heritage. And some additional business, which is, I believe, a item going across all committees, is the Business Arising Report. And some new business, we discussed some ideas that would be applied to the New Horizon Seniors Funding Program. And our meeting was adjourned at 7:18 p.m.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks. Any questions on any of that? All right, seeing none, moving on. Infrastructure and Public Works, Councillor Thorngas.
We had our meeting on September 16th, just want to give a few highlights and some things that have changed since this report. Had Memorial softball fields, 2 to 3 weeks, that will be completed. And the Country Drive Shades Lane intersection, that's now completed. The History House work has started on the History House. Sidewalks, Director know that will be playground equipment will be, promotion drive will be installed in mid-October. And stormwater management plan, looking at that, I guess, and you know, the draft plan presented is essentially the original plan broken down into more manageable phases, with Skipper's Landing, ditching, regrading phase being the first to be completed. And trail development, this is for Councillor Glenn. Grand Concourse will commence work starting next weekend at Western Island Pond. I just had to get that in there.
That's all right. That's all good.
The fall bulk garbage drop-off, the drop-off dates will be September 24th to 26th, and the same format as the spring bulk garbage drop-off. Will be 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursday and Friday, and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday. There's a red card went out in the mail today, so hopefully everybody will get it in time to look at it and see what they need to do.
Okay.
And that's basically it. If anybody's got any questions as to what I felt were the highlights.
Well, it's all good. A lot of stuff getting done or getting moving, which is good, which we like to see. I do have a question though, and I'm not sure if it's public works or planning. I think it might be planning. And I probably should have asked it earlier. But I've had some inquiries from residents with regards to Great Pond. Do we currently have a study going on? Do we currently have some kind of study going on with Great Pond?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Can
So
we get an
would
update
group
on that?
right now?
No, next meeting.
Okay.
I don't know, not right now. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I just, I meant to send you an email to ask about it, but it
Yes.
just popped into my mind that time.
Yes, yeah,
All right,
correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody got questions?
Thank you, Councillor, thank you, staff, thank you, committee, for being so diligent in getting those trails on the go this year. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, that's that. Recreation and Community Services, back to Councillor Glenn.
Okay, just 1 second. I keep scrolling here. Okay, Community Services met on Tuesday, September 15th. I was there as chair, as was Councillor Martin, and their Director of Recreation and Community Services. The items we discussed were open space. Again, we've been talking a lot about trails lately, and we had some discussions with the PLUD committee that Councillor Thorngoss kind of talked about. We also talked about the number 2 item was the Torbay Common Gate, and we do have a motion with regards to that. I guess we had been having some feedback from the neighborhood around the recreation center, as we did before there was rec center, when it was still the Kinsman Center and stuff like that, about some late night noise, and if there's anything we could do to help kind of curb some of the activity that happens there after the center has been closed. And so with that in mind, I'm going to make the following motion. With the exception of special circumstances, such as snowstorms or open for the daytime during holidays, due to close, sorry, I'm going to restart, this is word a bit weird. With the exception of special circumstances, we shall close and lock the gate at the Torbay Common at the close of the facility's operating hours and leave locked until the reopening of the facility's opening hours, and to increase inspections by municipal enforcement to ensure the continued peaceful enjoyment of the adjacent residential neighborhood and the safety of open space, park, and facility. So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Mover, seconder, questions, comments?
Not quite my wording, but that's I think we get the point. Basically, when the facility closes, we're gonna lock the gate.
Good.
And the next morning, when the facility opens, we're going to unlock the gate. So again, it's not a perfect answer, I guess, to the neighborhood, of course, right? Because we're just locking the gate. But hopefully, it can deter some of the activity that goes on there during the exceptional late hours. Again, we encourage everyone to go there and feel free to loiter and stuff like that. That's what parks are for.
Excuse
And
me.
of course, not every teenager that hangs out there is doing anything nefarious and stuff like that. But you know, when it's 11 o'clock and people are trying to sleep, there are still neighborhoods there, and so we do have to send a clear message. Hey guys, the park's closed. Come back in the morning, or
Yeah.
you know, you're welcome when it's open. But when it's not there, we've got a $10 million facility to protect residents, to make sure it get looked after. So I'm in support of go ahead and lock in those gates when we need to.
Anybody else?
I'll just say that I also support it. It initially came up in planning as protective services, public safety following that, but then it transferred over to community services as that committee governs the facility. So just to reiterate Councillor Gallant's comments, I also support the motion.
And I too certainly support the motion because, sometimes it's not your people in your own town you got to worry about. It's those from out around that can get in. And you got to preserve what we've got now because it took so long to get it. And we don't want it to be beat up and, you have to spend lots of money and again. So I support the motion. Good job.
There's nothing other than to say what Councillor Glenn summed it all up, so I'm in agreement with the gate being closed after hours.
Yeah.
I guess do you have anything to say there, Tony?
I'm fine. I think that, it's an area that attracts folks after hours, and we can secure the area, and I think we should secure the area.
I was kind of surprised, actually, that we were having problems over there. Each week, it seems like I get a lot of complaints about people loitering, but it's not at the community center I'm getting them from. It's from the high school. So the problem with them being at the high school is we have no jurisdiction over there. We can't get them out of it. So once we do this, and I have no issue with locking the gate, but I just didn't think that we needed to have a motion for it. But I'm also worried about the fact that if people, teenagers in particular, are hanging out in our parking lot and are not causing a problem, or if they are causing a problem, we have the capacity and the jurisdiction to move them out of there because it's our facility. The issues where I have complaints, and I didn't receive, usually when there's issues over there, I do get complaints from the residents that live right there. And I know that he'll be phoning me, and because he lives right there. And last time, as you mentioned, when we were getting complaints, he phoned me all the time. But I haven't heard from him in a long time. He seems to be pretty happy with how things are operating. But my concern is with the two areas where I get complaints are right there across the street at front of the gym and at the high school. And we have no means to get them out of there other than call the RNC. And, it's so frustrating all the time when you had to just tell residents, but there's nothing we can do, you're going to have to call the RNC. Then that's the only drawback I see from clamping down and everything. I had the same issue when we built the trail at Upper Tree Corner and the gate was locked all the time. And I'm thinking to myself, we built a trail and now we can't let people get on it. So are we also going to lock that, what's it called, that man gate on the other end by Shays Lane? Because if you can't get out that end, if there's no way to get out through the gate, we can't let people come walking through there then. We're going to have to lock that one too, are we?
Well, I think this is saying we discussed doing the front, just the main front gate. And again, that was part of the discussions that we had, kind of going back and forth. In some ways, it's it's a bit of a screen door and a submarine type of deal, right? Because if people get in, they can just walk in. But this is going to prevent the cars from going in there, which I think is one of the main concerns that people have, particularly late at night for for noise and for safety and stuff like that. So again, it's not a perfect solution. People can hop fences. People, if you want to go hang out there, you're probably going to be able to hang out there, right? But the truth of the matter is, it is our facilities, it is our grounds, so we have to do what we reasonably can to protect that, and, you know, kind of do what we can to ensure some level of safety. Again, it's not perfect, but that doesn't mean we can't do what we can do. And again, it's not, you know, it's not like there's, you know, people burning down anything or anything at that point. You know, it's still
Right.
relatively okay, I think, but we have to do what we can to discourage.
That's fine, I'll support it. I just wanted to make sure that those concerns that I have were.
Can I ask
were-
Yeah, no,
another
it's
question?
Your opinion's well taken.
You
Can
already-
I- A small question. Can we increase security over there or call the RNC?
That's all
And-
part of this.
Okay,
For our own facility, we don't need to call the RNC to come do security. We got our own security that can do
yes,
it.
I know, but have we got enough?
Oh, yeah.
You know, to be going over and all that stuff, right? And then if not, like before, I know when we had problems around, when the RNC, of course, were downstairs, but it was a lot easier then to have them, you know, look into a situation. Just a thought. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay, thank you. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay. Item number 3, we talked about net extenders in the recreation center, and they've been installed, so we're all good for that.
Good.
Our rental agreement with regards to COVID-19, the director talked about some COVID-19 protocols that are being inserted into the rental agreement, and so we're going to have to keep an eye out on that and update them as needed. And then we also went over some of the October programs that have been scheduled.
All right.
And so concludes my report.
That's it. Thank you. Anybody have any questions on recreation report?
Excellent.
Very good, thank you. Liaison committees. First one is Atlantic Mayor's Congress. I already kind of spoke to that earlier. There's a lot of documentation attached here. It's interesting stuff if you want to go and have a read through it. I don't really have anything there for intergovernmental this week. Jackburn Arena, there was no meeting, there's no update. Northeast Avalon Joint Council, you're meeting this week, right? 16th? Okay. Thought I saw the invite came out. RNC, I don't think I have any report there. I know I did have that meeting last week with the RNC and with the city, and I haven't heard anything back on it yet. When I do, I'll update council. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department, Councillor Martin.
Thank you. Fire department met last Monday evening for their bi-weekly meeting. There were a total of 3 calls, 2 medical and 1 odor. They're also up for their re-election. They did take nominations. Nominations did take place at that meeting, and once finalised will be ready in a future report. So ends my report.
Okay, thank you. And I'll add to your report that we've received an invitation for the Torbay Volunteer Fire Department Fire Prevention Week Parade. Will be, I'm looking for the date. How come I'm not seeing the date? October 4th, Sunday, October 4th. And so the parade is going to leave from Jackburn Arena. And those people who are participants in it have to meet at 1 o'clock. So,
Where?
I think I got that right. But I just wanted to let people know that that's going to be coming up soon. Where am I to? UMC committee. I think I reported last week that we met last week. Not this week I had an M&L meeting, but the week prior to that we had our UMC meeting and our CAO was in attendance. We had a really good meeting. We had some good presentations there. One from, in particular, that I would note was from Rock Networks, and they're a company that's looking at doing wireless and cell phone service that would be municipally owned and at investments, I guess, through the federal government and the provincial government. It's a proposal or a thing that they're looking at to be able to bring higher speed internets to communities where they don't have any right now. And it's an interesting proposal, how it works. And I'm sure that we'll hear more about that in the coming days and months and years, probably, by the time they get that done. I know that when I moved into my house on Ballyline, I had to go upstairs in the bedroom in the back, close to the window in the corner, to get a cell signal. And now I can get, since they put those new towers in around our town, the service is much better. And I know that in Pooch Cove it's better now, and Ballyline hopefully is going to be better. But with COVID and all these Zoom meetings and people working from home, and the need for high-speed internet in communities is more evident now than ever before. You know, it's important that people have access to reliable internet and reliable cell phone service. I guess it's going to be interesting to see where the federal government and the provincial government go with that over the next number of years. But other than that, I think we had was it MyX down? MyTex is a really good program too that they're doing, where you can get a certain amount of a project funded. You put forward a project proposal as a municipality, and it's a partnership between the municipality and it's MON, I believe, Tony, isn't it? MON? And up to a certain amount, there's no limit on how much can be funded, but I think they fund $7,500 at a time for a 4-month project. So if there's things that you were looking to do, any particular projects, they get these PhD students and sometimes instructors to work on these ones on your behalf, and it's a lot cheaper than having to go out and hire a consultant or anything. So that was the first time I ever heard of that, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So that'll eventually find its way into our council package once I get the notes back from M&L and the UMC committee. But no, that's all. If we has our next UMC meeting, Mary, on Zoom, maybe I'll invite you to come along as you're my backup there. Just get a handle on it. All right. No notice of motion, new business. Councillor Glenn.
Okay, I just want to say a quick thanks. Of course, I just read the news in the Northeast Avalon Times, of course, about Keith Hogan and District Drugs, and, you know, been in the community operating the farms there for, I guess, 50 plus years. So I just really want to say, you know, I've worked with Keith on at the Jack Byrne, and of course, just him being an active member of the community and stuff like that, and just a plus person and a great business. So I just want to say thanks and all the best.
All right. Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to say congratulations to all council again for their 3 years of suffering. Here we are. Special thanks to the staff for putting up with us, and sometimes I know it's hard and difficult, but we certainly appreciate all the efforts that everybody puts in and understand what most folks go through on a day-to-day basis anyway, so we really appreciate that and look forward to their help and assistance to get us through this last year, and hopefully there won't be too many politicking games between now and the end of it, but congratulations everybody. I must say it's been a pleasure working with all of you. I certainly enjoyed it. Certainly a different experience on this side of the table and then the other side of the table looking out, but thanks on that front as well. So congratulations and look forward to the next year with you all.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Looking forward to work what you do for the next year. Councillor Rondas, Paz. Councillor Roach. Can you turn on your microphone, please, Peggy?
Turn on the light. I agree with everything that Councillor Gallant and Councillor Pollard said, and much, much more that you said as well. And I'm really happy to see that, you know, we're doing the best that we can with everything, and it's moving along wonderfully. Everything takes time, and it makes you feel proud when you see, you know, something being accomplished. And that's why I spoke up about the thing over there. And, you know, and we're giving back to our residents. And I think they appreciate that. And as a resident myself, I do too. And, you know, so Thanks to everybody. Yes, I love you all. my council family, and Trina's not here tonight, but you know, she's part of the family too, even though we do have our. And some of you have been here with me for a long, long time, and hope you'll be here a lot longer. And me too. No. Anyway, thanks.
All right, thank you. Councillor Martin, pass. All right, I got I guess a congrats and a thanks, and it goes to the Hogan family, and Jack and Keith have done a lot for this community over the years. They started that store in 1963, and I was reading through the story in the Times, and they were talking about how it was in the house they lived upstairs over the store. And I remember when I was young and I used to play hockey, me and Michael, and we'd come home after school and we'd have our hockey gear and we'd be over there waiting upstairs for Jack to drive us to hockey practice or to a game or whatever. So I got memories of that place way back. But even outside of the store, they do a lot of stuff in the community that nobody ever sees or hears about. I know last year they donated one of these chains of office to the town of Flat Rock, you know, and they've always been looking after people in the community and active with sports, and there's so much that they've done and sponsored people. And you know, I know that I speak to a lot of people and they talk about Jack Hogan and what a fine gentleman he was, and Keith. I know Keith a long time. We played ball together and stuff. So I'm really happy for him that he's retiring and he's gonna just take a step back and relax a little bit. But I know the whole family and they were part of that store and part of this community for a long time, and I'm sure that's not going to change, even though they're selling the store and it's still going to be focused around community. And I know that they'll be there to step up if we need help for anything along the way. One thing I want to pass along my condolences to my friend Ross Thornhill and his wife and his daughter on the tragic passing of his son last week, and I know they're going through a tough time right now, and I just want to, on behalf of the town and council, pass along our best to him and his family. And you know, times are tough right now, but they will get better. You know, and we're here. I'm certainly here for them if they need anything from me. So, with that, I don't have anything else. Do we have any questions, Don? Good. Our next public council meeting will be here, unless the bottom falls out of COVID, and we got to go back to Zoom, which I hope is not going to happen. Will take place Monday, October the 5th, 2020, 6:30, right here. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.